Hi, guys. I'm Adrienne, a vocal coach in Denver, Colorado, and I would like to help you figure out which exercises are the best ones for you to do because there are lots of great resources out there for free on the internet and paid. I mean, there's all kinds of great resources out there, but which ones are good for you can be maybe hard to tell. So let's talk about what kind of singer you are and then what kinds of exercises are probably best for you. Now, I'm talking from a purely technical perspective here. There are a lot of valid ways we can classify voice types. I mean, the most obvious being the FACH system, F-A-C-H. You can tell I don't say that word very often. But what I'm talking about is voices based on their habits, not their range, not their vocal cord thickness, not the personality type necessarily. I'm talking about how to determine what kind of singer you are from the perspective of technical habits that you use your voice in. And I'm going to talk about three main kinds of singers. So, first one, this is probably the most common type of singer these days, and that is the chest dominant singer, which means you are more comfortable on your low notes, you get tight on your high notes, maybe. If you can get to your high notes, the highest notes at all, you have to flip to get them, and they sound different. So, that means you're using your voice in two different ways. You're more comfortable in the low notes. The chest voice isn't really a thing physically. It's not like you turn on a different muscle and then you're in chest voice. But chest voice or chest voice production or chest register is associated with thicker vocal cords, lower notes, and often more power and more air pressure, all of which are pretty popular, have been pretty popular in music for the last 2-3 decades, although a lot of indie stuff is getting really light these days in the last decade or so. The majority of men, but not all men, and a growing number of women are chest-dominant singers. So if you are a chest-dominant singer, based on what I've just described, then the most important thing for you to work on is being able to access your head voice and then strengthen it so it sounds more like your chest voice. Again, I'm using these terms, head voice, chest voice, like they're things that exist. They don't really exist, but they sure feel like they do when you have a break in your voice, right? You recognize that there's a way you sing notes up here and there's a way you sing notes down here, and there's no bridge between the two. So the most important thing for you to work on is that head voice. Get more comfortable with it. Get it to a point where you can start mixing it. And the exercises that are going to be good for you are going to be closed vowels and soft consonants. So things like who, he, ku, ki. Now that's a hard consonant, but the closed vowel helps you release the head voice. Gu and gi, same thing, hard consonant but closed vowel. Or exercises that lead with soft consonants like W, which isn't even really a consonant, but it functions like one, like we, or wa, or consonants sh, f, fricatives like that, things like that, or V and Z. So all of these things help you release your voice, which is your main challenge as a chest dominant singer. You favor that power, that thickness, that reliability of singing low notes, and you tend to want to bring them high. But what we need to do is develop the opposite side of your voice. So exercises using m and n and ng and plosives such as b and k, and big open vowels like a, e. Those are not the most helpful types of exercises and syllables for you at this stage. Although I will say, all singers are different, and there's not one rule that applies to everyone. So sometimes you might just try something outside the set of rules and see what happens. Moving on. So the second category of common singing habits is someone who is a head-dominated singer. You might have guessed, since I started with chest-dominated singers. A head-dominated singer tends to be a woman. Doesn't have to be, but that's where we find most of our head-dominated singers. If you have no problem with high, light, floaty notes, you love singing up there and your voice really blossoms up there, but your low notes kind of fall apart, or they wobble, and you don't really have any power on the low range, then you are a head dominant singer. And again, head voice is not a thing. It's not like there's a switch that you flip, but there are some habits and sounds that are associated with the combination of muscles we use to execute what sounds like head voice. Anyway, those characteristics are thinner vocal cords, higher notes, and less air pressure. And you'll usually find this kind of singer in choirs or having had a lot of classical experience, classical lessons. So if this is you and you want to sing pop or rock or R&B or modern styles that sound more speech-like and more contemporary, then the most important thing for you to work on next is going to be, guess what? Your chest voice or your chest coordination. And I know I keep using these terms that really don't exist, but they're the things that we easily latch onto. So I'm using them for shorthand right now. What this means is that we want to get you comfortable with a sound that is more speech-like on your low notes. So for example, if you say, hey, hey, that is your chest voice. You're not going to say, hey, hey, on those low notes, unless you think you're singing, right? So exercises that are good for this kind of singer are exercises that do the opposite. They put some weight on your voice. So plosive consonants, big open vowels. So syllables like ma, me, nya, nay, even ba or go or no. Exercises that use oo and e are probably not what you need right now. They're going to help you just stay in that beautiful, comfortable head voice. And exercises using soft consonants like sh and f and w, things like that, are probably going to do the exact same thing. So you want to basically work on the opposite side of your voice so that it gets strong and matches the voice, the part of the voice that you're comfortable with. Now, if you have access to both your chest voice and your head voice, or your low ha-ha notes and your high hoo-hoo notes, right? But there's a flip in the middle and your voices sound different, then the next thing is for you to learn to mix those two voices. All right? Mixing means you don't have to navigate across your registers with noticeable flips. So you don't have to go, ah. You can go, ah. It is tricky, and it takes a while for most people to learn. So don't get frustrated. Be easy on yourself. The best exercises for you can vary, but and this is where a good teacher comes in. But some good exercise syllables that I really like are meow, 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 meow. One, nya, whoa, yum, things like that. And these syllables either combine the characteristics I talked about earlier in this video, or they lie in the middle of the spectrum in terms of how much vocal weight they're going to encourage you to carry. So those are the three main kinds. Of course, there are people who don't have a break in their voice at all. So you're the fourth kind of singer. You're rare and you are lucky. So if you have no break in your voice, congratulations. Don't go looking for one. Just sing. And so you haven't learned any bad habits in terms of your registration, which is awesome. You don't have to spend time or money trying to bridge your registers. You can just work on your tone and your resonance and your style. So consider yourself fortunate. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Subscribe, like, turn on notifications.